Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
We are following two developing court cases today at noon on Fox 50. A woman accused of performing dental work without a license is due in court this afternoon. A preview of that hearing is coming up.
And hearing delayed. A mother charged with murder and admitted attempted murder for her children during court. We'll tell you what happened with Andrea Faust.
Today, the woman accused of operating a dental office without a license will be in court. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Ken Smith in for Chris Lovingood. Now, police also say Ebony McBean received thousands of dollars for her unlicensed work. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live outside the Wake County Justice. And then Destiny, McBean's arrest has been months in the making.
You know, we talked to patients back in November about their experiences with McBean and the Smiling Face Company, but warrants for her arrest were taken out just days later. Now, months later, she'll be in a Wake County courthouse for the first time. Now, patients say that they spent thousands to have McBean put on their braces at the Smiling Face Company before it closed abruptly. Police say she didn't have a dental license. Now, we've been in contact with the police department about why this arrest has taken so long. A Raleigh detective tells me RPD worked with the North Carolina Dental Board to investigate this situation. The detective says that they were trying to interview McBean as part of that investigation, but it never happened. Instead, police arrested McBean during a traffic stop because of the outstanding warrants. We talked to one of those patients getting the reaction to her arrest.
It may be nothing to some people, but that's a lot of money. And, I just want her to see what she has caused.
Now, we talked to Shayla Gist yesterday, and you hear there she wants not only that money back, but also accountability for McBean. The detective says that McBean was paid in full for her work that was either poorly performed or not completed at all. She's expected to be in court today at 1:30. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And breaking now at noon, a Durham mother accused of killing one of her kids and trying to kill the other will not appear in court today. Andrea Faust needed to go to the hospital for a medical emergency. The clerk of court's office says Faust could have her first court appearance tomorrow. She faces charges for murder and attempted murder and remains in jail without bond.
Partly cloudy, cool, and windy this afternoon, but that changes starting tomorrow. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at why our temperatures will soon feel like spring.
Oh, look at how pretty it is right now. This is a look at RDU, and you can see just a few puffy cumulus clouds and some really pretty blue sky there. But our temperatures are cool, and here's why. Our wind is out of the northeast at 15 steady, and we're seeing gusts up to 20-25 miles per hour through the afternoon. So that's going to keep our temperatures on the cool side for today. Again, looking at 50 degrees right now, some 40s on the map as well, 46 in South Hill, 47 Rocky Mount, 46 in Goldsboro, 53 in Southern Pines. Gradually, we're going to continue to see the skies clearing, and we should be fairly clear overnight tonight. As we clear tonight, we could end up with some fog tomorrow morning that could affect the travels in the morning. But today, again, stays breezy and cool, even with increasing sunshine. Highs will be in the low 50s, and then we drop into the 40s by midnight. We are on track to see a cold morning tomorrow. We'll likely drop into the mid-30s. And of course, we're looking at breezy conditions on through the afternoon. We'll see gusts again 15 to 20 all the way up through the evening. Our rain chances start to climb as we get into the end of the week, as well as our temperatures. We're going to see a wind shift that brings our temperatures back into the 70s, but we'll add some rain to it. I'll show you how much we could see and the timeline coming up.
And I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center this noon, where the search for Nancy Guthrie, now in its third week, continued over the weekend as investigators combed through more than 30,000 tips. And in the last 2 hours here, President Trump sharing a new statement about the investigation, saying that he's keeping up to date by watching Fox News and stating hopefully there will be a positive result. So NBC's Jennifer Bjorken, she explains what's happening there on the ground right now in Arizona in this investigation.
Today may be a holiday, but there is no time off for the investigators who are working this case. All the days are running together, and now we're hearing that they are looking at some 30,000 phoned-in tips since this investigation began. But as Today Show host Savannah Guthrie posted in her Instagram feed last night, they still haven't gotten that one tip that brings their mother home. Investigators did have a busy weekend conducting several court-ordered searches but making no arrests. The sheriff's office says DNA from someone other than Guthrie or anyone close to her was collected from her property, and as they're working to identify who that DNA belongs to, they're hoping to match it to DNA on a glove found 2 miles away, which they say is visually similar to ones worn by the subject seen on camera at her front door. We are told preliminary results on the glove have been forwarded now to the FBI. Technology is also playing a big role. Drones fitted with Blue Fly, which detects devices that emit signals like a pacemaker, have been deployed. And camera caches are being scraped to look for more images of the person seen at Nancy Guthrie's door on that doorbell camera in the early morning hours the day she disappeared. So now on day 16 of this investigation, all this painstaking work is taking place, some of it behind the scenes, and they're hoping for a break that breaks this case open and provides some answers. I'm Jennifer Bjorklund in Tucson, Arizona. Now back to you.
Opening statements are underway in a first-of-its-kind case in Georgia that could test the limits of who is responsible for a school shooting. Colin Gray is the father of the teenager accused of killing 4 people at his high school back in 2024. Prosecutors say Gray should be held accountable for giving his son access to the firearm used in that attack. His son, Colt Gray, admitted to the shooting. We're still working to find out what caused an early morning fire in the Five Points neighborhood along Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. The WRAL breaking news tracker showing the fire on the back porch of the Loop Bar and Lounge. A neighboring business owner says the fire caused minimal damage. Firefighters say a space heater may have started the fire. No one was hurt.
North Carolina's DMV is adding 10 new self-service kiosks to local grocery stores. This brings the state total to 20 across 3 counties, Wake, Cumberland, and Mecklenburg. They'll be located at select Harris Teeters, Publix, and Carly C's. The goal is to cut down on trips to the DMV and shorten wait times. Commissioner Paul Tyne says the DMV has cut its wait time down to an average of 40 minutes.
Every little step we take, the more we move online, the more things we do in the office to create efficiency, it's going to continue to drive that down further and further.
The kiosks allow for limited services like renewing a driver's license or paying property tax on a new vehicle.
New documents uncovered by WRAL show how a now-shuttered Wake County school was able to operate without basic safety inspections for years. Interviews and records obtained by WRAL show Crossroads Flex School closed after routine phone call from a school administrator. That person was trying to track down the school's latest fire inspection records. That call alerted the county fire marshal, who had no idea the school was there. The school was closed down for 2 weeks this winter before being temporarily moved within Cary High School. The closure and moves have left families scrambling, with some now looking to transfer. WRAL's Education Insider pieced together the puzzle of how the school was permitted and what officials knew about it. You can see what we found on the education section of WRAL.com.
UNC Health and Wake Med are lifting their visitor restrictions. Starting today, children 11 and under can visit UNC Health facilities again. Visitors who are sick will still not be allowed to visit patients. Wake Med is lifting visitor restrictions for children of all ages. Both hospital systems had restrictions in place due to a busy flu and virus season.
Next at noon, Defenders of the Universe. As we celebrate Black History Month, 2 special guests will join us to talk about the second Blacks in Comics event happening this Friday in Raleigh.
Also, smoke detector recall. We'll tell you why this brand of smoke detector is being recalled, the one you see on your screen, and if you have one, stop using it.
Also, partial government shutdown. The federal workers not being paid after Republicans and Democrats could not reach a deal on immigration enforcement reforms.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Welcome back. Superheroes come in all shapes and colors and abilities. Black History Month is the perfect time to give local viewers a chance to discuss Black comic book heroes. Well, this Friday, the City of Raleigh Museum will host the Black Superhero Gallery, an event that allows the public to dive into the history of Black superheroes and explore why they are still relevant and important today. We're so happy to be joined by Grady Bussey, the African-American historian and chair of the Friends of the City of Raleigh, and Dr. David Washington, award-winning author of Black Defender. Good morning to both of you. And I'm usually saying good morning because I'm usually doing the 9 o'clock, but now I'm doing noon. So Grady, let me start with you. What was the inspiration behind this event, and how did you feel like now is the time to get something like this started?
Yeah, well, so the City of Raleigh Museum has always wanted to find new and improved ways to tell new stories about history. And so what we wanted to do is dive into the history of the Black superhero. We've seen so many movies that have came out and it talks about the history of all these different people, but the reality is that a lot of people really don't know about the evolution of the Black superhero through comics. And so we wanted to dive in, wanted to tell a great story about how things evolved, the complexity of the Black superhero, and this is going to be really exciting.
And somebody who's living that reality in terms of how this genre inspires and creates. Dr. Washington, you're the award-winning author of Black Awakening. First of all, tell us how that genre is doing and how that book is doing.
Well, Black Defender is doing great. We're very happy about all the support we've gotten here from WRAL and all the people in North Carolina. And being able to bring this story and being able to allow young people to be able to see themselves in the narrative is awesome. So we are very happy with all that is there.
Yeah. So what typically inspires someone to create a Black superhero? So in your case?
Oh, my children. Hands down. I wanted them to be able to see themselves in the narrative. A lot of times you may not see yourself in that narrative and then you can't see yourself as being heroic. And so for this, I wrote this primarily for my kids because every child deserves to see themselves in their heroes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and as a father of 4 little ones, I can attest to that. So, a lot of times, Grady, we think of comic books as an investment. So if you're purchasing a comic strip, particularly a Black superhero comic strip, what should people be looking at?
So, and that's a really great question. The reality is that, I tell everybody, learn the story and enjoy the book. Everything is not an investment, but the reality is that there is investments with it. I'm a collector myself, and so every year from many years ago, I started collecting the Black Panther and multiple storylines, which ended up becoming, movies, and so now they're worth something. But I think the reality is, the crux is that they are amazing stories, and it's a way in which people can get engaged and just, go off and learn about a book. Comics is one of the best ways in doing that. So it is an investment opportunity, but I would tell people just enjoy the stories and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, and people are enjoying Black Defender because we understand it's being adapted into an animated short. How thrilling is that for you?
Oh my gosh, Ken, we talked about this a year ago.
We did.
I said Hollywood was next. I said they were next. And so that's it. Right now we're moving it forward into the animated space. I'm very pleased that we're going to make that short film and put that in place. And I'm just overjoyed that we were able to take that journey all the way out.
We are so thrilled for you, Grady. Always great to see you, Dr. Washington. Much more success for you.
Thanks, sir.
I'm sure.
Thanks, sir.
So listen, the Black Comic Superhero Gallery and Workshop will take place at the City of Raleigh Museum February 20th at 7 p.m. For more information, visit raleighnc.gov and search Black Superhero. Also, here's something else you should be aware of. The symposium will happen Thursday, North Carolina State University. Keep that in mind. Free to the public. You can register at AACC-DASA at ncsu.edu. It's a symposium of Avatarium and Diasporic Scholarship. All right, that was a mouthful, but we got it in. So mark your calendar for those events. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Excellent.
Always a pleasure.
Well, happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, let's talk about the Winter Olympics, where U.S. figure skater Ilya Malinin has now addressed his performance in the Winter Olympics here on social media. Writing in a caption on Instagram, he alluded to invisible battles that he's been fighting. So after his free skate in the men's single skating event last week dropped him from first to 8th place, that is, he admitted that his head was flooded with negative thoughts before he was set to perform. So here's his statement. Even your happiest memories can end up tainted by the noise. Vile online hatred attacks the mind, and fear lures it into the darkness. Of course, we're staying on top of everything Winter Olympics.
Laura, thank you. Here's a look at where the medal count stands now. Norway hanging on to first place, followed by Italy in second. Team USA is tied for third place with 17 total medals with Japan, and then France rounds out the top 5. Here, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner and I are keeping an eye on look at the beautiful sunshine out there. It is turning out to be a beautiful day. Today feels very seasonal, very February-like.
It does, yes. The gorgeous sunshine, a little bit on the breezy side, so that's going to make it feel cool on through the afternoon. But certainly nice to get outside. You know, the golfers
there
are out there.
There are a lot of people out at this hour.
Jackets, you know, they're braving it just fine. And if it's not quite warm enough for you, just hold on. We have warmer temperatures starting tomorrow, and that's going to last all the way through the end of the work week. 50 degrees right now. We have a northeast wind at 15, so that's one thing you'll notice as you're out and about today. It definitely feels breezy. Our high temperature only climbing into the low 50s, so not much warmer than where we are right now. Most of that is because we're going to see that chilly breeze coming from the northeast. It's 51 in Durham right now, 52 in Cary, 48 in Garner and Knightdale, 47 in Rollsville. So it's chilly. Temperatures will climb into the low 50s in Raleigh and Durham for this President's Day, and 54 degrees there in Fayetteville. Taking a look at our wind speeds and gusts. That wind again coming out of the northeast, anywhere from 8 to 9 miles per hour to around 10 to 15, 18 miles per hour there in Goldsboro. And we're seeing those gusty winds too, gusting to 24 in Goldsboro, gusting to 23 in Durham and Raleigh. That's likely to continue until we get into this evening, and then we start to see the winds settling down a little bit. We'll also see the winds taking a big turn. I'm going to show you that in just a second. But again, looking at the winds really starting to die down once we get closer to the evening, and so it won't be too windy at that point. Watch the winds here. So winds coming out of the north. You can see those arrows, that blue shaded area coming out of the north. So this is cool, and our high temperature only 52. Watch how everything swivels around, and by tomorrow, our wind is coming out of the southwest, and you can see that signified in red for the warmer temperatures. We're looking at 65 for the high on Tuesday. And then that warm flow continues through the week. Notice how it gets a little faster for us on Wednesday, so it becomes even stronger, and our high will climb to around 70. Really, Wednesday is going to be the prime day to spend time outside. But Wednesday through Friday, highs will be in the low 70s, which is the average temperature for the middle of April. So we're kind of swinging things back the other way. You know, it was really cool through the middle of January through, just a week or so ago. And now we started to warm things up. It'll be a chilly start for tomorrow morning at 34, but then our highs stay in the 70s. However, we are looking at the chance of some rain starting Thursday into Friday. We did end up yesterday with around an inch of rain officially at RDU, and we saw really either side of that. In some places it was a little over an inch, in some places it was a little under an inch. So it was about an average of an inch, but we could add to that again on Thursday and Friday. Right now that looks fairly light, but watching a different system that could come through over the weekend could be a little heavier, and that might drop our temperatures a little bit more. Coming up, we'll talk more about the rain on the way and how much more we could see.
All right, Elizabeth, thanks. Well, coming up in our news this afternoon, couple killed, a Fort Bragg soldier and Ukrainian refugee killed over the weekend. Tonight at 4, we look into the suspect's history.
Plus, energy bills keep getting more expensive and demand is not slowing down. Later today at 5, new recommendations to make sure our energy grid can keep up. And coming up, cruising into spring break. 5 on your side's Kelly Arthur will help you set sail on Consumer Reports' best picks for cruises.
And a smoke detector recall. Also, take a look at your screen, why you should stop using this particular brand immediately if you have one. Planning a cruise for spring break, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the options, right? Well, 5 on your side's Keely Arthur sharing Consumer Reports' best picks so you can get the most for your money.
Consumer Reports surveyed more than 18,000 members about their cruise experiences, everything from value for price paid, the kind of service they received, and even the quality of food. Only 3 cruise lines scored high enough to earn Consumer Reports' recommendation. At the very top, National Geographic Lindblad Expeditions. These are small expedition-style ships heading to places like Antarctica. Instead, you get naturalists, marine biologists, and expert photographers to deepen your experience. Windstar Cruises comes in at number 2. Windstar's small ships and motor sail-powered yachts give passengers a private yacht feel with plenty of crew help. And Viking wraps out our top 3. Viking is adults only with ocean-going ships up to about 1,000 passengers, TED-style talk lecturers, and lots of included price excursions, along with beer and wine. You can find the full list of cruise ratings as well as more ways to book and save right now in our story online, WRAL.com. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we have an update for you on the social media platform X, where a lot of people woke up to simply this message or a lot of error messages because the platform crashed once again, the second time in recent months. Well, we do know that it only lasted for about an hour this morning where the platform was down, but we did see a large spike in reports on down detector in the U.S. and the U.K., where about 41,000 people in the U.S. alone reported some issues. So, of course, right now we're still working to gather more information on what exactly caused this outage. So far, there hasn't been an update in that regard.
Laura, thanks. Thousands of smoke detectors sold on Amazon are being recalled over potential sound delays. About 11,000 LS Home 3-pack smoke detector fire alarms have been recalled by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. The 9-volt battery-operated alarms may not sound in a timely manner. And, of course, that's a huge risk. The alarms were sold exclusively on Amazon between February 2024 through December 2025. Stop using the product immediately, and you can contact Ellis Home for a full refund. We have more information about recalled products and other recent recalls on our website. Go to WRAL.com, search the word recall.
Breeze Airlines celebrating a milestone at RD International, and travelers are the beneficiaries. The carrier marking its 3-year anniversary with promotional fares starting at $30 one way. Breeze serves 40 destinations from RDU, including 38 nonstop flights. Starting next month, the airline will offer international flights from RDU to Montego Bay, Jamaica, and Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Here's a bit of history for you. On this day in 1968, the very first 911 call was made in the United States. Former Alabama House Speaker Rankin Fite made the call on a rotary phone during a non-emergency demonstration. Another lawmaker answered the call at the police station a short distance away. Now, members of Congress, the FCC, and AT&T collaborated to create the 911 system. Now, before its creation, many Americans dialed 0 for the operator, and in rural areas, people had to use loud noises or fireworks to call for help.
Much more efficient now with 911. Coming up in our next half hour, a partial government shutdown. We will tell you about the current stalemate between Republicans and Democrats that is preventing some federal workers from being paid.
Also, road repaired. Some Wake County residents no longer have to take detours to reach their destinations. A look at the repairs in our next half hour. As we hit your break, here are your winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We are starting the first full week of a partial government shutdown.
And the nation's airports are bracing for travel delays if this one drags on. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez reports.
This morning, a partial government shutdown is entering its 3rd day. Democrats refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security over President Trump's ongoing immigration enforcement policies after 2 American citizens were shot dead in Minneapolis.
We've drawn a hard line in the sand on behalf of the American people.
Among the reforms Democrats want, a uniform code of conduct for ICE operations, that ICE agents stop wearing face masks and obtain warrants signed by a judge before making arrests. The president has not said he'll make any concessions.
We're see what happens. We always have to protect our law enforcement.
For now, Democrats holding firm. Over the weekend, former President Obama speaking out about ICE in a new podcast interview.
So the rogue behavior of agents of the federal government is deeply concerning and dangerous.
DHS is a sprawling department with more than 200,000 employees. It includes ICE, but also other critical agencies like FEMA, the Coast Guard, and the TSA. Those employees will be required to work without pay during a shutdown, though ICE has already received $75 billion last year through what President Trump called his big, beautiful bill.
They're not stopping ICE from doing their job. All this is a political theater.
The nation's airports now bracing for potential travel delays if the shutdown drags on. The last one lasted 43 days, and some unpaid TSA employees called out from work, creating massive delays nationwide.
You can only plan so far ahead before food starts going bad, or how many cups of ramen soup am I going to feed my kids?
Roberto Echeverria is a TSA officer in Salt Lake City.
Instead of us focusing 100% on national security, we're having to focus on where our next paycheck is going to come from.
And that was Gabe Gutierrez reporting. Lawmakers are on recess. They aren't expected to return until February 23rd. So DHS will be without additional funding for a while longer.
Well, Wake County leaders will be meeting today to talk about money and priorities. Commissioners will discuss funding for schools, behavioral health, and opioid recovery programs. They'll also consider new bond proposals and budget changes. The meeting starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Wake County Justice Center.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, the Food and Drug Administration has upgraded a recall here for peanut butter. So more than 22,000 affected single-serve products were distributed to 40 states. They include both peanut butter packets and small cups containing both peanut butter and jelly. The products were produced by Ventura Foods and sold to distributors, mostly under private label brands. The problem here is that pieces of blue plastic were found in a filter at the facility where they are made. The FDA's new designation for the recall is Class 2, so that means consuming the product could cause temporary illness, however, not likely anything serious.
Laura, thank you. After months of inconvenience and construction, Olive Chapel Road is mostly back open and will fully reopen tonight. Heavy rain and flash flooding caused a drain pipe to collapse back in August, which opened up a giant sinkhole. WRAL's Kirsten Clark shows us this moment has been a long time coming.
It's a day many people thought might never come. Olive Chapel Road reopening 6 months after major flooding led to a collapsed culvert and a giant sinkhole. James Bryan lives off of Olive Chapel Road and says the closure created quite a few disruptions to daily life.
The buses are delayed because they have to now go all the way around to pick up and drop off the kids.
The road collapsed on August 6, 2025. The Department of Transportation initially projected it to be ready to reopen in November of 2025. After several delays, a contract was finally awarded for construction in November. Crews had to replace pipes and hired a contractor to build a new culvert, a project estimated to cost more than $2 million. As part of several updates on the project's progress, Apex Mayor Jacques Gilbert announced that Olive Chapel Road would reopen on February 12th. Yet a water line was struck during final construction work, causing another delay. At this point, Olive Chapel Road has partially reopened. You can see these cones creating lanes for drivers to pass through an area that was once fully blocked off. DOT crews now just have one last strip of pavement to finish. I asked the mayor if there is any concern about another culvert failure in the future.
Our staff, our engineers, we will ensure that we work closely with NCDOT and do some monitoring evaluation, not only for that culvert, but all around our town to make sure that infrastructure is sound.
As Brian looks toward a shorter commute.
We're a little bit disappointed that it didn't happen last week, but hey, things happen, nature, so you just got to roll with it.
A long-awaited new chapter for Olive Chapel Road. In Apex, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
A spokesperson for DOT says all lanes of Olive Chapel Road will be fully back open by 8 tonight.
Good news for Raleigh drivers. A large pothole on I-440 that damaged a number of vehicles, now repaired. We first reported the problem as breaking news during our 11 o'clock news last night. It was on I-440 East near Wake Forest Road. Now, police tell us at least 8 cars sustained minor damage to tires or bumpers after driving over that hole. Officers coned off the area so crews could work to repair it. The issue has been fixed and the road is fully open now. House explosion as our news continues. The evacuation of homes nearby after it happened and what Virginia investigators say caused the explosion.
Out of the hospital, the man charged with Australia's most deadly mass shooting in 3 decades appears before a judge. What happens next? Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. No plea from the man charged with Australia's most deadly mass shooting in 29 years. Naveed Akram appeared before the judge for the first time since leaving the hospital via video link. Akram is accused of killing 15 people in a mass shooting at a Jewish festival on Sydney's Bondi Beach. His father died in a gun battle with police after the attack. The case is expected to return to court in April. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano put on quite the show overnight, spewing lava right into the sky. The latest episode of Kilauea's ongoing eruption lasted more than 9 hours. The volcano's south vent fountain reached as high as 1,300 feet. Cloudy and rainy conditions at the summit hampered visual observations by scientists. But the U.S. Geological Survey says this was one of Kilauea's most eruptive episodes of the year.
Well, the FAA and NTSB are investigating after a small plane crashed in a neighborhood in Southern California. You see the video right here. The single-engine aircraft went down in a drainage area behind several homes in Ventura County. Emergency crews rescued 2 people from that wreckage. Both were taken to a nearby hospital with severe injuries. No homes or buildings were struck or no injuries were reported on the ground. Well, neighbors are shaken after a Washington, D.C. area home exploded and caught fire. The only person inside is okay and no one else is injured. My goodness, you see this video here. It happened last night in Centerville, Virginia, about 20 miles from the nation's capital. This morning, the land where the home once stood continued to smolder. Nearly 50 homes were evacuated as a precaution. Investigators did locate a gas leak.
Pause for a cause. Hundreds of pets and their people hit the streets of Rio de Janeiro. The reason for this parade of pets.
Also, skip the treadmill and head outdoors. The cool perks of running outside this winter.
Happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we're tracking a fairly large power outage right here in Raleigh. Take a look here. 525 customers without power near Rock Quarry Road and Barwell Road. This is also near Barwell Elementary, so something to keep in mind. We know this is a high traffic area. This began at 8 o'clock this morning, and Duke Energy is reporting that the outage was caused by a third party, which, while digging, damaged their underground electrical equipment. So a lot of construction already happening in this area, impacting a lot of people. We're going to stay on top of this. Right now, the estimated time for restoration is 7 p.m.
Laura, thanks for that update. Now, if you find yourself forgetting to do your physical therapy exercises, you're not alone. In a survey from Ohio University's Wexner Medical Center, 76% of patients don't do their PT homework. This can cause serious delays in recovery and the need for additional surgeries. Physical therapists and patients agree the key to consistency is incorporating exercises into your daily routine.
Working on balance and you're standing on one leg. Hey, let's do this while you're brushing your teeth at night. Do we have an extra 5 minutes either before or after you walk your dog that you could do your exercises?
If I'm watching TV, I'm gonna do some stretches. If I'm laying in my bed, I'm moving this way, that way, because it's nonstop. It's nonstop. You're gonna have to work and work and work. Homework is a part of life now.
Start doing my push-ups. Research shows patients are more likely to follow through with exercises when they understand the specific reason for each movement. Coordinating therapy movements with daily activities help patients understand and stay consistent with their new routines.
I hear you, Ken. I'm bad with stretching. With New Year's resolutions still lingering, you might be on a fitness journey. A very cold winter has kept many of us inside. And if you're tired of working out at the gym or working out indoors, well, take a run outdoors. Running in the cold can improve your muscle strength, endurance, and mental health.
And I think for some of us, it can really help. Maybe with some of the mental health, right? Like keeping us well and happy when we don't get as much sunlight.
When running outside in the winter, it's important to choose the right attire. Opt for a shoe with a lot of traction, such as trail footwear, or add non-slip grips to your sneakers and dress in layers. Your base layer should be a moisture-wicking fabric, followed by insulation and a waterproof outer layer.
Well, you might be over winter by now, right? Especially after rounds of cold, snow, and ice that we experienced a couple of weeks ago. Well, how severe has this winter actually been? Meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us the tools designed to show just that and where this winter stands.
The thing about this winter is it's actually looked like winter at times across North Carolina, of course, with those back-to-back winter systems that we had. But there's something that's pretty cool that's used by Purdue University that tries to assess how severe the winter has been. They call it the Accumulated Winter Storm Severity Index. And so they use temperature, snowfall, and snow depth to come up with kind of a historical database and try and compare one season to another. So according to this index, they call our winter pretty average so far, although I kind of disagree with that, and I'll show you why here in just a second. Although the past few winters, it's okay to call it mild or moderate. It seems like we couldn't even buy a snowflake some winters. Again, this one has been different. In fact, it's been the coldest winter in the last 15 years, and we dive deeper into that, looking at how this winter stacks up with the past and what we can expect moving forward. That's in a special report, our midwinter report card. That's going to be tonight at 6 on WRAL News.
We are looking forward to that. I'm here in the WRAL Weather Center with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, and I think those back-to-back winter storms really had everybody thinking, is this the winters we've ever been?
Yeah, I know, when it's just constant like that. I mean, really, almost 3 weekends in a row.
Yeah.
Really from, about the middle of January until a week or so ago, temperatures were mostly below normal and it was cold and we had, 2 or 3 different winter storms that came through. So now we're back to spring. We had a little taste of it last week with a high in the 70s, more 70s this week. And winter's probably not over yet, but by the time we get to, mid and late February, we tend to really start to see a lot more warm air, at least kind of sneaking in here and there. So that's what we're seeing for today. WRAL's Garner Tower, looking westward, you can see a mix of sun and clouds. Northeast wind at 15 miles per hour. We've had some gusts to about 20 to 25 this afternoon so far. Currently, our temperature is 50 degrees. And with that northerly wind, we're definitely going to stay cool today. And you can see it as we take a look at our high-resolution satellite. From Raleigh westward, we're pretty clear, but from Raleigh eastward, especially along the I-95 corridor and eastward, we're still really stuck in the clouds. That, along with that northerly wind, will help to keep things cool for the rest of the day today. But if you were watching a few minutes ago, you can see that everything changes for tomorrow. We see a southerly flow that's going to bring us some warmer temperatures. We definitely had some much-needed rain yesterday, almost an inch of rain at RDU, and that's the most since August 11th, where we had 2.3 inches. And we were really either side of an inch, almost an inch in Raleigh there, a little over an inch in Cary, about an inch, 0.3 in Pittsboro, really only a little over a quarter of an inch in Goldsboro. Some of our eastern counties really saw some of the lower totals. Fayetteville, 3/4 of an inch, 4 Oaks at around an inch. But generally, it was a good soaking for us. So watching another system that's getting wound up here on the West Coast, bringing some snow to the Rockies and to the California, the Sierra. And they definitely need it. We're going to see that warm front moving into our area by Thursday. So we're nice and dry. 0% chance of rain for both Tuesday and Wednesday, but a 30% chance on Thursday. And then the cold front moves in, and that's going to bring us a 40% chance on Friday. And then that may linger across our area into the weekend. Right now, again, looking at that chance Thursday and Friday, but Saturday and Sunday could also bring us some showers. But all total, the models are only going with about a half an inch so far. So we could definitely use a whole lot more than that. In the last 30 days, we've only seen about 45% of our normal rainfall in Raleigh and about 65% in Fayetteville. But the problem is we've gone months and months looking like that. And that's why we're really just entrenched in the severe drought across our entire viewing area. Temperatures are going to feel great. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, highs are in the 70s. If you're looking for the best day to get outside, maybe Wednesday, it'll be dry and 70 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be a really nice day, too. And then once we hit Thursday, we're looking at least a chance of rain all the way through the weekend.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Steamer shipwreck discovery, how a teenage dream of finding a lost ship turned into reality. After a 60-year search, new clues that led him to the wreckage site. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. A woman accused of performing unauthorized orthodontic procedures in Raleigh will be in court this afternoon. Ebony McBean is charged with providing dental care without a license and obtaining money under false pretenses. WRAL first reported on it in November after the business suddenly closed in North Raleigh. McBean will be in court at 1:30 this afternoon. WRAL will be there.
A Durham mother accused of killing one of her children and trying to kill the other will not be in court today as planned. Andrea Faust was taken to the local hospital a couple of hours before the scheduled hearing, according to the Durham Sheriff's Office. No word on why she was hospitalized. The court hearing is rescheduled for tomorrow.
Repairs to an Apex road are nearly complete. A portion of Olive Chapel Road reopened this weekend, and all lanes of Olive Chapel Road are expected to be open by the end of the day. The road had to close in August after flooding caused the road to collapse and created a giant sinkhole.
Michael Jordan adds another championship to his long list of accolades. The NBA legend and his race team winning the Daytona 500 over the weekend. His driver, Tyler Reddick, passed another driver on the last lap. They had a lot of crashes to win that race. Reddick said he was not only proud to win this race for his family, but also for MJ. After the race, Jordan said, "It feels like I won a championship, but until I get a ring, I don't even know." He also made sure people in Victory Lane knew that his ring size is 13.
That's right. I would imagine the owners get a championship ring, right?
I hope so.
Shipwreck hunters located the wreckage of a cargo ship that sank over 150 years ago. After searching most of his life, Paul Ehorn and his team found it in Lake Michigan. In 1872, the SS Lac La Belle was bringing food and other supplies from Wisconsin to Michigan when it sank. It was found a few miles offshore between Racine and Kenosha, Wisconsin. The team used clues from other divers to narrow down their search. They discovered the ship 4 years ago, but the team announced it last Friday when they completed a 3D video of the site.
Cool is that? Well, carnival season is in full swing in Rio de Janeiro. Hundreds of people lined the streets in protest of animal cruelty over the weekend. They dressed themselves and their pups in costumes such as alligators, fairies, and superheroes. The dog parade is a decade-standing carnival tradition. This year, festival goers aim to bring awareness to animal rights after a 15-year-old was charged with a dog's death. The teenager denies this claim.
If you're looking for a furry friend, check out this pup who's waiting to be his forever family. Moose is a 14-week-old Great Pyrenees and Labrador retriever. He plays well with other dogs, would be a great little brother to your existing pets. With big paws and an even bigger heart, Moose is the perfect addition to any family. To meet him, contact ARP Rehab at 919-894-1111.
I'm waiting for the little ones to start asking for a pet.
Oh, it will come, yes. Thanks for joining us this noon here on Fox 50.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.